Hi and welcome to the TouchDMIS Tutorials. In this video, we will see how to use the TTP mode in TouchDMIS, create a probe assembly, and calibrate it. The TTP mode enables probe management inside the software. To activate it, remember to set TouchDMIS in I++ TTP mode, select the I++ server file, and unflag the offline option. Then you can go on with the machine setup procedure. Now go to the probe management portal. The first thing to do is define the probe assembly by selecting the probe assembly editor. Current assembly components are listed in the editor's left column. In the center column, there is a list of all the components currently available to assemble. Pick the component and put it to assembly with the arrow button. With the button under, the last component in the assembly will be deleted. When you reach the probe tip definition, you can choose one from the list or create a new one in the right editor's column. Here you can choose a probe tip type at first, and define its name, length, effective working length, and diameter. Height in case of the cylinder probe tip, and thickness in case of the disc. In the case of a star probe, you must define the extension length and choose which arm will be used. Then each arm is defined separately. When the probe tip is ready, you can directly confirm all assembly or put the tip into the list using the arrow button. Probe tips can be deleted from the list with the button below. Before going to requalified probes, we need to define calibration parts. Go to the Calibration Parts window. It is possible to create new calibration parts or edit an existing one. Calibration spheres and rings are available. The position is obtained by measurement with one probe. It is a good habit to have a special probe assembly used like a reference one, which is used just to determine the calibration object position, never used for measurement. A correct vector is necessary to plan automatic moves for requalification assessment. In the case of a sphere, it is defined by support direction. In the case of a ring, it is defined by the axis direction. It is also essential to set the correct object diameter, and in the case of the sphere, also the diameter of the support shaft to avoid collisions. It is also possible to erase the calibration part's location. That means that it must be redetermined again before the next qualification. And, of course, calibration parts can be deleted. Now, let's see how to calibrate the probe in TouchDMIS using the probe management portal. First, it is necessary to select and locate the calibration part. Select a probe. In this case, we use the ref sensor probe. Now press Locate Calibration Part. A 0B0 position will be created for the current sensor. Then you will be called to move manually the sensor 20 mm up from the calibration object. Confirm when sensor is in the right place. Then confirm CMM moves. TouchDMIS will go on the 3D scene to proceed the procedure and back to probe management at the end. In Calibration Report window, you can check the calibration results. Offset of localization position must be 0. With calibration object located, we can continue with the calibration of other position. Choose a probe assembled previously. To select the probe, use the right-click or hold the probe. Then select the option, Set Probe Assembly as Active. In this case, we have selected this probe. In the grid below, pick the orientation to be calibrated. Orientation can be picked one by one. or multiple positions can be defined by clicking on the row or column header. Angles difference between defined positions is set in this combo box. Or all grid positions can be defined. Once the orientations are defined, press the confirmation button. The position will be created for the selected sensor. As you can see, the orientation selected will be turned orange in color. Now you can continue with the next sensor or calibrate the previously selected position. To run the calibration, tap or click the Run Calibration button. TouchDMIS will switch to 3D scene. In the calibration report window, you can see the current calibration process state and the results of each position. In some case, positions do not match limits, or the calibration process was interrupted for some reason. You can easily run these incorrect or uncalibrated positions using the Repeat Calibration button. You can use the Probe Position Details button to see single position details. Select the single position to see in detail. Finally, if you prefer to run calibration manually, you can use the manual calibration mode. The last part of program management is the changer racks management. Here you can create, edit, or delete changer racks. Rack definition contains a clearance with horizontal and vertical components. These values define a point in front of each slot where sensor change starts and ends. The docking head position sets orientation relative to the changer rack during the sensor change. Once the sensor is created, it is necessary to locate it. After selecting the Locate button, the locating session will start. Then user must follow the instructions and move manually the CMM. To fulfill the rack with the sensor, you can choose the available calibrated sensor in the list of the probe assembly. Select the rack slot, then the plus button. The minus button will remove the sensor from the slot. After the changer rack creation, the changes will be applied in the new TouchDMIS session. Changer rack definition will be inserted into the DMIS code.